I can't see anything because I haven't got my contacts in. It is the 2nd of February 2024. I'm not sure why, but I always seem to be doing these video diaries in the morning. I suppose, I don't know, I wake up and I just reflect. But what I'm going to do for this entry is I'm going to reflect on what's been happening in the last week. Today's Friday. So, I'm going to try and filter out a few things as a trigger warning. But basically, this week has been, I'd probably say, the worst week that I've ever had. Let me rephrase that. My mental health has been the worst it has ever been this last week in years. I say that because there's just been some very dark thoughts that's been floating in my head. So it all started off on Monday, where, without going into too much detail, basically me and my manager have been working very closely on our communication to try and work together, pretty much, with me and my mental health. So this last 6 months, I've been quite vocal with my manager and say, like, hey, I'm struggling a little bit today, and he's been very accommodating. So as like a preface, so before I used to just struggle, and then my performance at work will just then plummet down, and my manager's like, what the hell's going on there, kind of thing, because I'm really good at my job. So I never used to just tell him what's been going on. I don't fully open up to him. I just tell him, look, this is what's going on right now. This is how I'm feeling. So I just need some grace, kind of thing. So we've been working on that slowly, building our trust. Because I find it quite hard to open up to people. I'm saying that now when I'm here doing this video diary. Knowing that I may post it online. That's besides the point. So we've been working on trust, and we've been building that. And basically on Monday, I just had this case that was just, it really overwhelmed me to the point that my brain just physically just stopped working. Like, my brain just saw this amount of information that was given to me as a prefix, as a context, I suppose. This case wrote a 15-page essay for me to read, on top of multiple medical evidences that they've provided for us, on top of the questionnaire that she's filled out. And there was a lot. I honestly couldn't even begin to think how someone could provide so much information in just small spaces. But hey, it happened. So, facing all of that, my brain just felt very overwhelmed, to the point where it just stopped working. Like, literally, I saw it, and I was like, it's like my brain was in shock, and it just stopped working. I couldn't even take any information in. Like, I was just looking at it for hours, and there was no information that was going in my head. And I really, really struggled. So that took me, usually a case will take me about an hour, 2 hours max to do, right? And that would include me reading the medical evidences, calling the client, and then writing up the report. That will take me around 1 or 2 hours. Sorry, my voice is really croaky because I've been crying a lot. But yeah, anyways. So it takes me around 2 hours. This case specifically took me all morning and part of the afternoon to just even try and read the medical evidences. I haven't even called the client yet. Right. So, called the client, and as soon as I got off the phone to them, I then immediately called one of our doctors, our clinical standards lead, and just asked for help. Because with my job, I have to address inconsistencies. Yeah, I have to address inconsistencies that's within the medical evidences, what the client says, and, it's just addressing all those based on my own medical knowledge and things like that. So there's a lot of inconsistencies. There's a lot I needed to write up as well. So I asked for help. And during that time, I put myself on Do Not Disturb on Teams because I couldn't take any calls. I couldn't answer any messages because I had to focus on this. My brain needed all its brain power and energy to just focus on this case that was right in front of me. Taking into consideration the amount of time it took for me to read that case, to call the client, which I was on the phone to her for about an hour and 15 minutes. That sounds long, but actually it's shorter than it would have been. Anyways, I then called my manager afterwards because he messaged me. He was like, just checking in, making sure that you're okay, because obviously at this point it was around 3 p.m. and I'd only seen one case, and our targets are 5 to 6 cases a day. So he's checking in on me. I called him immediately after speaking to our clinical standards lead, and I told him, look, this is what's happened. My brain I'm at my limit. My brain I'm feeling so overwhelmed, and my brain just physically cannot function anymore. Like, I am struggling. Even to just write up this case, I am struggling. To which he replied, I can't accept one case for you. I can accept 2, but I can't accept one case. With hesitancy, I was like, that's fine. Because I'm not happy with myself either. Because I know I can see 6. I know I can see 7 in a day. I know I can see 5 in a day. I know I'm able to meet those targets and more. But that day, I just couldn't. I struggled. So I was frustrated at myself because I wasn't able to meet the targets. So I said yes to him. And I said, okay, let's see another case. I hope this will be easier. He said to me that I'll get an easier case. So someone with just 2 conditions, like, I don't know, anxiety and depression, for example. So unfortunately, the easy case that I was meant to have didn't answer the phone. So they had to find me another case from another centre. And the case that I ended up having had 6 conditions. Mind you, I finished work at 5, and this was I didn't get my second case until just before 4 p.m. So I saw the 6 conditions, and immediately I just broke down. Because like I said, I was at my limit. My brain capacity at that time, I was at my limit. And I saw the 6 conditions, and I was like, literally, I couldn't speak, and I just immediate tears, because I was thinking in my head, I was like, okay, fuck. This person has 6 conditions. It's just before 4 p.m. and I've just received the case. and I still have that last case that I have to write up that I know is going to take me a long time. So, immediately cried, couldn't cope with it, really, really struggled, to the point where a dark thought came into my head to just try and stay away from the pressure, because I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with the amount of pressure that I was in. And long story short, I was at my desk till past 10 p.m. and I meant to finish at 5. So I wrote a very lengthy email to my manager, his boss, and two of our clinical standards leads. These are the people who are aware of my mental health issues, mental health challenges. And just basically in the email, I just stated, although you're aware about part of what's happened today, I thought I'd write in an email to just basically just show them the impact and what led me to the predicament that I was in Monday evening. So then, that was a trigger. That was a big trigger. And since then, reflecting back, I've been living in survival mode again. Didn't give myself the necessities that my body, my mind, and my soul needed. During the week, I had therapy. I have weekly therapy anyways, but when I spoke to my therapist, we tried to work it out, try and sort of, okay, so what are we going to do in terms of work? How are we going to handle things? How are we going to move forward? So we've sorted that out. This was on Wednesday. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm ready. Everything else can wait. I'm just going to focus on myself, and I'm just going to focus on work, and then just try and get myself back on track in terms of work. Yesterday now, I couldn't handle it, because the thing is, the people that we speak to on the phone, these are the people that have physical and mental health issues that is hindering them and that's stopping them from going to work. So basically what happened was, I was asking this client questions about their suicidal thoughts, etc. And as the client was saying that, it triggered me, and I just spiraled down. No, that was hard, because the thing is, with work, the thing is with work is I deal with complex and hard cases as it is. I hear people's stories about the horrific stuff that they're going through, and usually I've made a lot of progress with work, basically, because I used to take it home with me. I used to have it affect me so much, and within the last year, because I've been in this job for over 2 years now, and in the last year of this job, I've been learning and I've been practicing as to basically turn off my empathy in terms of just leaving it as a work issue. And as soon as I turn my laptop off, leave it there and don't let it affect me, which I have done. I've learned to just not desensitize, but I've learned to just not take it in, and I've learned to not absorb people's emotions and people's energies and people's thoughts, because that's something because I'm highly sensitive to emotions. So yeah, so that happened, and basically I've never had to call the Samaritans before. So yesterday was the first time I've ever called the Samaritans. I mean, I don't really know what they're meant to do, to be honest. I called them and there was just silence. They're like, hey, you're speaking to one of the volunteers. And I was like, I don't really know how this is meant to work. And they're like, you just talk to me. So I told them about my thought. And there was just silence. Basically, I didn't really have a good experience because it was very uncomfortable. Anyways, it just made me feel really uncomfortable. So I ended up hanging up. And I ended up hanging up and I just ended up calling one of my friends instead. And she was brilliant. She was amazing. Long story short is I received a lot of support from my friends. One of the doctors, one of the clinical standards lead, she also called me, bless her. She's like, I see you as one of my daughters. So that was so nice of her. And she really supported me. She helped. She spoke to my manager for me. The reason why is because I refused to speak to him. I couldn't speak to him. Although I'm trying not to blame, but I sort of was blaming him. Purely because I voiced my concerns. I stated my limitations. Because, they tell you at work, no, you're in limitations, all that kind of stuff. I stated my limitations. I told him I was at my limit. And yet he pushed me. So I feel that if I wasn't pushed, I wouldn't be in this predicament that I'm in now. I'm trying not to blame. I'm trying not to blame anybody. There's reasons as to why people are acting, why they say things. Sorry, I'm really anxious. Because this is big. This is big for me. I mean, I have big emotions anyways, but this is big because I've never been so close. It's like the way that I can explain it is it's like I'm standing on the edge of a cliff with just 1 foot on the cliff and 1 foot off. That's pretty much, my hands are so sweaty. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So yeah, that's where my head was at. I wasn't going to do anything silly. I was close. But thank God, praise God, because praise God for the people that He's placed in my life. praise God for giving me the strength to reach out to people when I needed it. And praise God for the people that He's placed in my life, because I don't think I'd be here if it wasn't for them. Basically, what's happened now is I'm now off work. I don't like to be off work. I really don't, because there's loads of different factors as to why I don't want to be off work. And, you know, I don't like to be off work. I don't like to be... I just want to just get on with it and then just go. But I'm here. I can't face work. And going back to the point is that I refused to speak to my manager. I refused. Because I was like, I don't want to speak to him. I really don't. He's not going to understand me. We've worked so hard this past year to try and build this communication between us, for me to be able to open up to him and for him to support me, which he has been. I will give him that. But on Monday, when I really needed it, and on Monday when I voiced my concerns and I told him I'm at my limit, he still pushed me. And the thing is, you know, it could be because he's thinking, oh, Megan, you can do more, like, you know, you've done it before, you can do more, kind of thing. I don't know what his thought process was, but for me, I was at my limit. I was driven way past my limit. And he's broken that trust. And now I can't speak to him. I refused to speak to him yesterday. I was like, I'm not. He's messaged me and it's like, you know, I'm here if you need me. Part of me is like, no. You say you're here when you need me. I've told you, I've asked for your help, and you didn't listen to me. And there's this resentment. I can feel this resentment. However, I'm not going to hold a grudge. During this time off, I am just going to focus on myself, getting myself back on track, focus on my own mental health and my own well-being. And when I return to work, then I will tell him the impact, because I don't think he understands the impact of his decision, how that's impacted me in my mental health. So, going back to my friends, I love you all, and I thank you. From the bottom of my heart, because I really have neglected myself. I've neglected to feed myself. I've neglected to wash myself. I've neglected to give my body what it needs. Because my brain was just so overwhelmed that it just went into overdrive. So my friends, I thank you. I thank you for your kindness. I thank you for your support. I thank you for your love. My friend Mo, right? I don't speak to him often, but I basically messaged him yesterday just trying to ask about this access to work scheme, because basically I was at the gym and one of his, because he's a PT, and one of his clients was talking about this right to choose in terms of like getting a diagnosis for his ADHD, and the access to work scheme that is the government is doing to try and help you at work in terms of your mental health or physical health challenges. Is basically kind of like a thing that you have to do so your employers can basically, they just have to do it. They have no other choice but to support you. So I was really confused about it, so I asked him to just basically ask his client for me, and then he was like, how you like, how you, homie? And I was like, I've been better, but I'm alright. Told him that I've been neglecting myself recently, haven't fed myself for over 24 hours. Oh, what's my throat? And the next thing you know, he was like, are you at home? I'll be over in 8 minutes, dropping you off some food. That small act of kindness made such a big difference. Because it's not like I didn't want to eat. It's not like I chose to not eat. It's just I couldn't even find the motivation. I couldn't find the drive to feed myself, to care for myself, to give myself the basic necessities that I needed. And yeah, bought me food. I cried. But you know, it's not just him, because a few of my friends as well have been very good in terms of supporting me. So I thank them. If you guys are watching this right now, I love you. You know who you are. Yeah, so today my action plan for the day is just to take it easy. I have this like nagging thing in my head that's like, no, okay, we need to do this. But that's not what I need right now. I do need it, but that's not what I need right now. That can wait. I have time. I just need to slow down and just breathe, and yeah, I just need to just focus on myself first. Feed myself. Do one thing at a time. And yeah, I'm just gonna do one thing at a time. There's no rush. You know what? What I'm feeling right now is I feel numb. I feel I'm laughing, I'm smiling, but I feel like this is just like a mask that I'm putting on. I notice that I've been dissociating a lot more. Haven't done that in a while. There's a lot of things that's been happening this last week for me that hasn't been present for a while. I noticed that I'm like fiddling with something, fiddling with my hands, scratching my arms. My hands are so sweaty. I feel, you know what? My body feels tense. I think quite possibly it's because I'm facing a camera right now, and I feel like I'm putting on something. I don't know, like I said, putting on a mask. Because I know I'm going to upload this at some point. Right, I'm snap myself back. I can't. Oh gosh. I don't even know where this is going, to be honest. I have no idea where this is going. But yeah, I'm just going to take it easy today. I think the next few days I'm just going to take it easy on myself. Focus on one thing at a time, celebrate little achievements. So, if I manage to wash myself today, that's an achievement. If I manage to eat or feed myself today, that's an achievement. It's hard. Yeah. One thing I can say is learning how to manage depression is hard. But I'm getting there, one step at a time. I will get myself back on track. I know I will. I just need to remind myself to give myself more grace. I just need to be kinder to myself. I just need to remind myself to be kinder to myself. Because at the moment, I'm kind of beating myself up because I'm off work, because I'm frustrated, because I had to take off some time off work, because I couldn't function. But I'm learning to give myself to listen to what my body needs, what my mind needs, and what my soul needs. So, my stomach is telling me I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go and get myself something to eat. So So this is just a reminder, Meg, to listen to your body. Be kinder to yourself. Be kinder to yourself. Because if you're not kind to yourself, who else will? You can't expect other people to be kind to you if you're not kind to yourself. So, moving forward, especially in the near future, in the next few days, I'm prioritizing myself first. I'm putting myself first. I'm listening to my body. If I need to stay in bed and sleep, then I'm just going to do that. If my body and my brain needs to rest, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and not feel guilty for not doing things. But then there's also that balance of making sure that I don't stay in that for too long. I have a tendency to do that. So, yeah. Alright. I don't really know what else to say. I'm going to close this now. I don't really know what else to say. I love you though, Meg. Keep going. You're doing the best that you can. Don't let this setback. Don't let this set you back. My brain is really struggling to function. Like, my brain is struggling to find the words, but yeah. Don't let this set you back. You're beautiful. You're loved. And you've got this.